Oh, got a nagging wife? Nagging kids? I know I do. I can't help you with that, unfortunately. But what I can help you with is nagging Microsoft Teams Rooms Admin Center. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mo Mondays. In this week's episode, we are going to dive into Teams Admin Center. Now, if you are a Teams administrator and you are managing a whole bunch of Teams meeting rooms, there's a really good chance that every time that you go onto Teams Admin Center, you're going to be greeted with a whole bunch of different error messages. No room is ever going to be completely clean, right? If you're managing a whole estate, let's be honest. There's always going to be a room or two which is either testing or a test rig, or something's not right in there, or for whatever reason. Applies to me especially because I have demo devices, and a lot of my colleagues have exactly the same as well. And every time I go into Teams Admin Center, I'll get the alerts to say, hey, this room is unhealthy. And sometimes I don't want to see that because I know it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy on purpose for whatever reason. Maybe I've turned the power off, or there's a camera plugged into a different device because I'm testing that, and I don't need to keep seeing that particular kind of alert. There is a way in Teams Admin Center for you to actually go ahead and stop those alerts, or lower down the priority list. So let's head over onto Teams Admin Center, and I'll show you exactly how that's done. Oh man, it's getting bright outside, which is why I've had to put the blinds up. So if the lighting looks slightly different, that'll be the reason why. Anyway, welcome to the Teams Admin Center. I've done many videos about Teams Admin Center, so hopefully by now you should know how to get to it, and you should know the basics around Teams Admin Center. What you see here right now is, of course, the dashboard, and most of us, especially Teams administrators, will head straight over onto devices, be it Teams Rooms on Windows or Teams Rooms on Android. Now, the thing that I hate the most is dirty dashboards. When I say dirty dashboards, dashboards that don't actually reflect the correct information. So let me give you an example here. This is our demo tenant. And on our demo tenant, we have a whole bunch of devices that we constantly are testing. And if you have a quick look over here, you'll see Mo's home office is very healthy. That should say something. Vincent, my colleague, on the other hand, has his multi-million-dollar little hut that sits in the back of his garden that has all of his equipment in there. Now, a lot of times he'll go on holiday, or he'll be testing devices. He'll be constantly switching peripherals out for other devices, or he'll be using like switches to change, the speakers, mics, and cameras and stuff. And every single time when I go onto the dashboard, I'll see a whole bunch of different devices that are either disconnected or have critical alerts and all of that sort of stuff. And normally I don't want to see that, because I know that in this case, the reason why these are critical is because he's testing devices. It's not an actual real life issue that I have to deal with. So how do I go about actually cleaning this up and making it more user friendly on the eye, especially when we look at the dashboard? Really easy way to do it. In fact, there's a couple of ways to do it, and I'll show you both. So if you go ahead and you select the MTR, so this one you can see, of course, is critical. If I select that critical button, it's a hyperlink. It will open up on the right-hand side, and it will tell me exactly what the issue is. So I can see the room camera is disconnected, the speaker is disconnected, the conference speaker, and also the microphone is disconnected. I know the reason why is because he's testing multiple devices with multiple peripherals, and he's constantly plugging them in and out, which is the reason why we see this. I don't want to see it, right? So how do I clean it up? So if I click out of that and I actually click on the Microsoft Teams Rooms device, so MTR5 in this instance, it will give you that little snapshot, that little dashboard that shows all the peripherals that are connected and all the ones that are disconnected across here as well. So if I go ahead and I select room camera, what you'll notice is on the room camera, in the top right-hand corner, there's those three little dots. Now, this is a little bugbear of mine, especially if you're using one of those really large screens and maybe you haven't got your glasses on. It's hard to see sometimes, but there is a sub menu across there. So top right hand corner, three dots, you go ahead, you select that, and then you've got manage health impact. So this particular camera, I'm going to manage the health impact, and I don't want it to tell me it's critical if it's not plugged in. In fact, I'm going to tell it to say, hey, it's non-urgent. And you can go ahead and hit the save button across there. What I can also do is then move to the next one and hit the three dots again, manage health impact, and say, okay, the speaker is actually going to be no impact. I don't really want to know about that. Hit the save button. And then you'd have to do that for each individual kind of peripheral. Now, if I go back to the dashboard, so here on the left-hand side, click on Teams, Rooms, and Windows and just let that refresh, you'll see MTR5 is still showing critical, and that's because I didn't select every single peripheral. So if I click on that critical button, I can now see, hey, the camera is disconnected, which is now a non-urgent issue, whereas the two other critical issues are here. Again, personally, for me, this still isn't clean enough. But it's also a bit hard work, right? You've got to click on each individual peripheral to actually set whichever preference that you want across there. There is an easier way of doing it. So I'm going to click off that and show you exactly how to do that. Again, you go ahead and you hit that MTR5. So whichever MTR in question, you just select that one. But this time I'm going to go ahead and hit that health tab that you see across the top here. So if I go ahead and I hit health there, you'll see all the different kind of signals that this device sends, whether it's peripheral health or connectivity health, etc. Now, what I can do is I can actually use these little ticks here on the left-hand side and actually select multiple peripherals that I want to suppress the signals from. What you'll notice is every time I select these across here, I see this manage health impact light up. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to unselect them all. And what you'll notice is it's now grayed out. If I select them, it comes back again and I can actually go ahead and manage that health impact. But what you'll also notice is if it's still grayed out, chances are you are actually clicking compute. So even though compute has the tick button next to it, if you click compute or you click HDMI ingest, it doesn't allow you to manage the health impact on the actual compute itself. Why? Because the compute is what's sending the signal. So that has to stay the way it is. So if you do see manage health impact not actually showing up, it will be because you've selected HDMI ingest and compute. Now, make sure they're unselected, but you're just selecting the peripherals in this case. Now I can go ahead and hit the manage health impact. It gives you a little highlight in terms of what you've selected. I'm going to go health impact across here and then stick it down as no impact and hit save on there as well. Now, if I hit save, and I go back to the Teams Rooms and Windows dashboard, you'll see actually now they're all showing as healthy. Now, you may want to keep it like this, right? You may want to say, hey, I want to see everything as healthy, even if things are disconnected. Personally, for me, I don't think it's a good idea because you're going to get those false positives coming out, if that's a word, false signals. So in my instance, what I would say is if you click on the Microsoft Teams Rooms device, go back to health across here, select your peripherals, manage health impact, but this time I'm going to stick it down as non-urgent and then just hit that save button. The reason I like doing this is, although I don't want to have it big, bold, and red to say, hey, there's a critical issue going on here, I'd rather just be alerted to say, hey, there's a non-urgent issue. Generally, you'll see non-urgent issues for things like out-of-date firmware updates, as an example. That's normally when you'd see it. But in this instance, I'd like to know if MTR5 is not working correctly or disconnected from its peripherals. But I also don't want it to tell me it's a critical issue. So you have that flexibility in order for you to go ahead and select the peripherals per Microsoft Teams Rooms device and say, what's urgent, what's not urgent, and what you shouldn't monitor at all. So hopefully this makes it nice and easy, and then your dashboard becomes a lot more cleaner as well. Now, some people may ask, well, what about Pro Management Portal? Can I do the same in Pro Management Portal? I messed about with Pro Management Portal just before going on to this. And what I found on Pro Management Portal is I was unable to actually select the peripherals and stop the signals from individual peripherals. However, what I was able to do is suppress the whole room. Now, there is a reason behind it. You've got to remember what Pro Management Portal is all about. Pro Management Portal is designed to be proactive. So if it identifies an issue, it automatically raises its ticket and it automatically will try and fix the issue for you. So realistically, I don't need to keep seeing those alerts. It will automatically understand that if it's a small minor issue, as an example, that, hey, I don't need to bug people about it. But so far I've only been able to suppress a whole room. I've not been able to actually go ahead and do individual components. But what most people or most Teams administrators that I've spoken to generally will use Teams Admin Center on a day-to-day basis, and anything they need to do more in depth will use Pro Management Portal. So usually you'd use kind of both hand in hand. But with Teams Admin Center, it's now a lot more cleaner. I now can see a true reflection of what my estate actually looks like, and what's going on across there as well. So hopefully this has helped you out a little bit. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And no doubt I shall see you guys for the next episode. Ciao.